be launching a tasty pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs, and we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
Welcome back to Legendary Foods Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Friday, July 8th, 2022. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. In a world full of sheep, it pays to be the wolf. Because every time you step outside your door, it doesn't take long for you to realize that you're surrounded by prey. And if I had to guess, right about now, when Hadi Choopan steps outside of his door, he's looking out at the landscape and thinking to himself that this feels like a good day for a hunt. In case you haven't heard, Hadi's been the subject of some pretty interesting conversations lately, which came shortly after he decided to part ways with one of his longtime coaches, who didn't seem to mind burning the bridge on his way out of town. At different points in the past, we've seen athletes turn this sort of negative attention into fuel and use it for motivation to silence the haters. And if Hadi really does have aspirations to be the lead dog in the pack, this would be the time for him to make his move. Speaking of making moves, it looks like Robert Timms might be getting ready to start making some big moves in the classic physique division. At one point last season, Robert was probably one of the most talked about athletes in the division after he went out and put a dominant performance on at the Texas Pro, despite being completely off the radar heading into the contest. Then he followed that up with a top 10 finish at the Mr. Olympia and essentially went into full zero dark 30 mode right up until, well, last week. Right now, pound for pound, he's already one of the bigger athletes in this division, and you'd imagine that he's probably coming back with a few more tricks up his sleeve now that he's had an extended time off this offseason. So if he follows the same formula as he did last year and decides to jump into one of the mid to late shows during the summer, he's someone who could potentially be someone who makes waves down that stretch. By this time next week, there will be all sorts of attention on the Vancouver Pro, where we're expecting to see some pretty high-level competition all the way across the board, including in the classic physique division, where we're going to see former top 10 Olympian Chen Kang make his first trip back to the stage in nearly 2 years. All the updates that we've seen from Chen's camp lead you to believe that he's on track to pick right back up where he left off in 2020, when he was widely considered to be one of the most dangerous athletes in this physique division. At the moment, the lineup in Vancouver looks like it should be pretty solid on paper, which you almost come to expect now given how this division has exploded recently. But if Chen can come back and prove that he's still got what it takes to be one of the top 5 or 6 athletes in the world, this one might be his for the taking. I know we always say that Father Time remains undefeated, but right now he's getting a good old-fashioned ass whooping from Kamal Elgargni, because I don't think there's ever been another 51-year-old on the planet who wakes up in the morning looking like this. For all intents and purposes, the former 212 Olympia champ looks as good as he ever has, which kind of defies all logic, because you just don't see people who keep getting better when they've been in the game as long as he has. The man is a living legend, and depending on what happens at the top of this division over the next few months, he could have a puncher's chance of defying all odds by winning his title back. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.